All right, everybody, it is I, Gregory Mannarino, back for my post-market wrap-up. It's going to be just lovely. Really is. At least I hope I don't blow my stock off or anything like that. So yeah, post-market wrap-up on this, what is today? Thursday. It's a freak show of a day, as usual. Yeah, November 12th. 2020. Well, this market was all over the place today. We did finish in the negative, but well off the lows. We're going to talk about what happened today, why the market at one point, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down nearly 500 points. It's our old friend Yellowstone, and you know who Yellowstone is. Jay Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair. The market today did not like his comments. Oh yeah, he spoke today, and he sounded very negative on the economy. However, he is very positive on this vaccine. Now, I don't know how many of you caught this, but you now have, I want you to think about what I'm going to tell you here. We have Yellowstone, Jay Powell, Fed chairperson, and the CEO of Goldman Sachs. They have completely synchronized. Imagine my utter shock. They're both saying that we need basically this vaccine to come out tomorrow with widespread distribution in order to fix our economy. Now understand, the Federal Reserve, what he said today, Yellowstone himself, talking down about the economy, how there's trouble coming ahead, how Congress better get something done soon because they're a bunch of losers and they can't get anything done. What does it mean? What is Yellowstone telling us, you and me, if we listen a little closer? He's explaining to you, hey, lots of debt is coming. We're going to print it out of thin air. We're going to create it just like magic. Poof. Yeah. That's what he's really saying. And I think the market right now has got to digest that. Now let's talk further about this market. From a technical standpoint, I've explained to you over the past several days, the market needs to give back. We are way over-owned. Is today the beginning of that? We did close about 300 points lower with regard to the Dow. Really not a big deal whatsoever. Look, the market is euphoric. This market is stuck in a euphoric state for a multitude of reasons here. And this really could be a fake out. For all I know, and you too, I don't really care who you may be, we have no idea what this market's going to do, let's say tomorrow or the next day. All we do know is this market is high on the, and I mean high as a kite, on the promise of more debt. That's all this is. It's not real. The market is distorted. We are in an economic free fall. Meanwhile, what did we get this morning? We found out that inflation is higher by 1.2% with regard to retail than it was last year. A year ago, we were nowhere near where we are right now with regard to an economic collapse, although the economy was collapsing then too. The lie of recovery, we never recovered a damn thing. And how can we prove that? The money velocity, yeah. I love money velocity because it's a big tell. In fact, there is no bigger tell than the money velocity, or the rate at which cash moves through our economy, than the money velocity. Right now, today, because of COVID, we're at a historic low. We're at a historic low. And we're losing what? Would we lose today? Another 709,000 people applied for unemployment benefits from last week. Oh yeah, we're doing fantastic, aren't we? But inflation's kicking up. Everything is inflating on the back of what the central banks are doing, the Federal Reserve more specifically. But understand, prior to COVID, we had money velocity near all-time record lows. You cannot have an economic recovery without money velocity moving higher. I just made that up. I know it didn't rhyme very much, but it's the truth. So forget the lie, forget the propaganda, the distractions, and the misinformation. We've never had a recovery. All we have done here since 2008, the moment when this whole thing died, we're on life support, is vastly inflate the debt. And if you believe that we've seen the end of the debt inflating, you have no idea of what you're talking about. We haven't even begun to see what is going to happen here. Realize what's going on. If you don't know, if you're new today to my blog, we have a Federal Reserve and other central banks determined to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. That's what they want to do. They're going to inflate more, and then on top of that, even more. So I think you get it. But doesn't it surprise you, or maybe it doesn't, that we now have a sitting Fed chairperson, Yellowstein, and the CEO of Goldman Sachs synced with regard to a vaccine? We all need to be vaccinated, and it has to happen soon to pick up our economy. It's, don't forget about maybe eating well, exercising, staying healthy, of course. No, you need this vaccine. Otherwise, we're all just going to die. There's some other nefarious thing going on here, people. Open your eyeballs if you haven't already. I sincerely hope you have. Let's talk about a couple of other things here. The 10-year yield, like I've explained to you to keep your eyeballs on, well, your eyeballs have probably exploded watching the 10-year yield go from 0.98 yesterday to 0.88 today, and the stock market fell. I told you, we had a lot of cash that came out of the debt market. Lovely. It's sitting over here, waiting for somewhere to go. It decided to go back into the debt market. When that happens, rates fall, the 10-year yield falls, and stocks fall with it. It's so easy. You understand? Let's see where that goes. We need to keep an eye on the 10-year yield. You want to predict the market? You watch the 10-year yield. Let's move forward here. Bitcoin, 16,100 and change. And I'm going to tell you what I find astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. You and thousands of others have heard me say publicly to buy Bitcoin at 2,700. We are now over 16,000. Regardless of that, at 2,700, when I said people buy Bitcoin, I was laughed at and ridiculed and told it was going to zero. I'm still waiting for it to happen, and it's at 16,000 plus. Why do people out here, maybe it's you, I don't know, I doubt it, feel the need to tell me I'm wrong about Bitcoin when all I've been is, let's see, a gazillion% correct? And it's going much higher for those of you that are going to tell me I'm wrong again. And I'll laugh. I will freaking laugh. That's the truth. Would you rather be in $1 right now? Let's see. What's $1 worth today relationship to where Bitcoin has gone since 2,700? Duh. Okay, maybe a double duh. So, I mean, please, you got to stop with this, people. All right, let's move forward. Gold and silver did catch a bit, although slight. The dollar fell under a little bit of pressure today. And crude oil fell under a little pressure today after Yellowstein is explaining that the economy is in dire shape. Dire shape. Oh, no, but I thought it was a super V. Maybe this is a super V. How's that look? Ah! Can't make it up, people. It's impossible to do. That hurt my jaw. Yes, I am not well, but my nose is itchy. I think you all know that. All right, so look, in summary here, it was lovely. We had Yellowstein talking about our dire economy, basically laying down the groundwork to say, hey, we're going to print a lot more. Don't you even worry about it. We got the 10-year yield falling precipitously, putting pressure on the stock market because that cash went back into the debt market. Will it continue? We will see, won't we? With regard to debt acquisition on an unprecedented scale, we're seeing it already. I mean, think about it. In just like 3 or 4 months, the Fed's balance sheet goes from 4.1 trillion to 7.3 trillion, and we ain't seen nothing yet, people. Just get used to it. So the Yellowstein himself and the rest of the things that are in the Federal Reserve, believe me, they're not human. None of these things are human. They're not. And they're determined to fulfill their end game here. And they are working diligently. And not only that, they've been worked on this for over an entire century to bring about what we're seeing today. Well thought out, well planned, and well executed. And you know who loses? We do. We do. As the world, as the American populace is distracted by what's going on here, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, the Federal Reserve is in here finishing what they started over a century ago, right under everyone's nose. It's unbelievable. This is epic in my view. All right, look, I'm out of here. This guy right here, loves you a lot. Please share the video. I'll see you in the morning.